Got a new pitcher for the Royal team. It's Joey Duprey from Cocoa, Florida. Over on the Space Coast area of the state. And meanwhile, he's going to work here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Yeah, Joey Duprey, 5'11", 160 pounds, working from the stretch. Has a distinction of all the players I have seen so far. Joey has not turned 16 yet, 15 years, 10 months. So we'll turn 16 this summer. Kind of a middle infielder's body, and he does play some middle infield. He's also a switch hitter at the plate.
He's facing Jackson Roper. I want to tell you about the spin rate of Duprey before we get too deep into this inning. Roper, the Florida commit. Grounded out back in the first, but Duprey says, David, that his spin rate has been the highest in his organization for fastball and curveball. Fastball lives in the high 80s, curveball over 2,800 RPM, changeup 1,800 RPM. And I know these college coaches would be intrigued by measurables and metrics such as those.
They would be. Or the fact he's already throwing 88-90 this outing as a 15.
That doesn't hurt. That does not hurt. Roper is going to drop one into right for a base hit. Just blooped one down the line and right. Retrieved and played back in by Pichardo.
If we see some nasty looking breaking balls from the hand of Joey Duprey, I'll give a text to our scouts behind the plate, see if we can get those spin rates.
Intrigued by that. Jordan Jacob, the batter. Even Duprey mentions in his bio a very, very young member of the 25 class, as you pointed out.
We have a pickoff there at first base.
How about that? Had a couple of pickoffs. We're losing base runners at a high rate clip here today. Curveball.
That had some
right
to it.
That had some spin to it. Jacob is retired on the throw across the diamond. Handled by Gamble over at third base. Jacob really trying to hold that bat back. Couldn't do so and hit a soft ground out for the second out. Duprey, a big fan of Max Scherzer, big golf guy as well. Luke Beeler, who singled and scored back in the second, fouls one back. Pitch up and in.
One thing that's particularly impressive about Duprey, whether it's in the context of his age and his size or not, is how easily he's generating this kind of velocity and spin. He's working from the stretch. Nice, easy delivery, high 3/4, no grunting, no real effort to it, just very low tension. It's almost like he's out, doing a 75% bullpen between starts type of thing.
I like it.
It's just pure natural arm ability. When you're 15 years old, you weigh 160 pounds, and you can throw 90 that easily.
And I don't know about the mechanics and the pitching style, but when I see a body like that, it makes me think of like a Rich Harden, maybe, for example, back in the Oakland A's days. But somebody who certainly isn't a big stature on the mound, but certainly has a lot to like. There was some spin on that pitch again. I don't think Beeler wanted any part of swinging at that, but he was in preservation mode, just trying to make contact and spoil it once it rode so far in.
Yeah, that was a changeup that just kept, like you said, kept moving in. I think Beeler said, okay, this is over the plate, and he's just gradually going, no, it isn't over the plate. No, it might hit me. It just kept coming in. Called the strikeout. Okay, that's not his best breaking ball, but it was certainly effective enough. Very impressive inning.
Wow.
For young Joey Duprey.
I will say so.
I'm looking forward to that second inning already. Might have got a little call from the umpire on that one.
I bet he's done that a time or two, though, with that big break.
Yes, changing the eye angle.
Second inning of work for Ben, and he faced just 3 last inning. Did give up a single, but also had a caught stealing. So Austin Pierzynski, first man scheduled to step in. Although we might have somebody else jumping into the mix here. Looks like it's Strickland. So we saw him pitch, so he's going to jump in now and get an at bat. Saw a lot of pitchers late in the game yesterday kind of jump in, insert themselves into the lineup in order to get some swings. Two balls and a strike. And that was going to lift it back and out of play.
Yeah, Strickland's just such a good two-way athlete. Mentioned his first perfect game, WWBA Tournament of the Year. He was named all-tournament as a hitter for hitting .500 out in an event in Arizona.
Left-handed hitter.
Actually, I believe a switch hitter.
Okay, that makes sense. Right-handed pitcher, switch hitter.
Can look that one up here.
It's going to wave and miss. So Bennon faced 4 and records his second strikeout.
Yeah, Strickland a switch hitter. Didn't help him on some of Cody Bennon's offerings there.
Bennon's got some flow coming out of the back of that cap.
Hardly
so
the
this
only
is Pierzynski.
Player. Yes, here's Austin Pierzynski. Wondered yesterday how Dad didn't. He might have tried. He very well could have tried. Dad, of course, a left-handed hitter. Son, a right-handed hitter. I don't think people realize, I mentioned this yesterday as well, how good, I don't think people recognize, maybe some of our younger audience, our players watching, how good of a hitter A.J. Pierzynski was during his 19-year big league career as a catcher. That stands out too. But A.J. Pierzynski ranks 13th on the all-time list of hits by a catcher with over 2,043, I believe.
See, I called a lot of his games, and I don't know if I'd know that off the top of my head.
And 10, if you include Izzy Molina as a future Hall of Famer, which I think everybody does, 10 of the 12 catchers in front of Pierzynski on the all-time hits list are in the Hall of Fame, or in Molina's case, will be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's in some rarefied air.
No, that's really interesting, David. And I'll tell you one thing he also brought was some grit. There was some toughness there with Dad, which makes me wonder if maybe there might be a chance to coach or manage at some point. For these guys have been playing that long, though, they have young kids, boys at this age. It is fun to be dad every once in a while. And, you know, there's even a conversation about, like, Craig Counsell in Milwaukee, perfectly made for that situation. Is this the end of the road for Craig and Counts? He's got a couple of kids that are playing high school, college ball. Do you want to just see them play for a few years and, you know, step away from that rat race? Pick try back at first. We get another pickoff. Things traveling in threes with pickoffs.
I think that's Luke Beeler behind the plate, throwing over to Corbin Martins, doing the old back pick.
That's a great angle here. That dive back into first started a little bit early and didn't quite get the skid back to the base. So Pierzynski's still up there, and he's going to chop one softly on the ground to short. And the play is going to be made by Jackson Roper. That's just two batters. There are 3 outs, but one of these situations again where we might as well see one more batter, and that'll be Hudson McNew. And the Texan gets a chance to bat for the second time.
Yeah, I remember going through that same situation with Dante Bichette when his 2 sons were going through the system, especially Bo and the younger of the 2 Bichette playing brothers. And I remember one year Dante went out to Colorado to be the hitting coach, and it just basically from what I heard turned around and said, no, I want to go watch my son play, and did. And you only get to see your son play high school ball once. You know, you might look forward to seeing him be an all-star in the big leagues like, you know, Bo Bichette, but you only get to see him in high school once.
No,
and it's just, as a dad, you have to do it if you're in a position to do it, I think.
If you can afford to do so after a big, lengthy career, go do it. Meanwhile, McNew goes down on strikes. I would say Bennett had a pretty good couple of innings, getting some handshakes from his teammates.
Spectacular. Yeah, nothing spectacular. 86, 80 change. You know, mid-80s, 70s breaking ball, but very consistent around the plate with everything. The ability to comfortably change speeds, create a little bit of swing and miss, especially when hitters are looking and trying to cheat on that breaking stuff. Then you slip in that 86 fastball, and it looks awfully good.
We'll be right back. We're ready to roll in the 8th inning. Ty Kennedy is leading off against Mr. Spin Rate Joey Duprey. And there's a chopper towards short. Nice big bounce near the bag, handled by Cunningham to retire Kennedy. And a quick out to begin the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, Brett, I did hear from Vinny Servino behind the plate, and the spin rate on the breaking ball for Joey Duprey in the 2,700 RPM range.
Good.
Yes, that's good. That's good. Except for that last one, they passed the eye test too.
You know, I watched a college pitcher this year by the name of Brady Tiger throw spin rate. I saw one pop up at about 2,900 on my TrackMan as Chuka bats, and I'm like, you know what? You almost feel like you need to take a picture at that because you do not see many above that 2,700-ish, 2,800 range.
No, you don't. And I'm gonna flash a comp on you that I think you're in better position to appreciate than most. For Joey Duprey, 15-year-old Joey Duprey here, throwing 88-90 at 160 pounds, maybe less. The first time I saw Roy Oswalt pitch, he was a 17-year-old high school senior who was listed at 5'10", 150 pounds, and was throwing 88-90. And this is a 17. He had a year or two on Dupree now. And we talked about drafting him. We're like, how do we send as we quick strikeout there for out number 2, how do we send a 150-pound kid out? We really wanted to draft him as a signable player. We finally decided we're going to draft him. He's going to go to Meridian Junior College next year, I think, or some junior college, and try to sign him next year. Well, he gains 20 pounds, and all of a sudden is throwing 94, 96 the next year, and we had to give him first-round money. And it was obviously first-round money very well spent. Thankful to ownership for giving us extra money in our draft budget. But that's the that's what comes to my mind, as a young arm, extremely talented arm like Joey Dupree, who doesn't have the age or the body or the weight, the maturity yet to be throwing like he does, but he is.
Oh, I like that a lot. Chuka struck out. Riker bends batting. Riker had a couple of RBI single in his previous at-bat, so getting one more chance today. And time permitting, I'll tell you just a little bit about Riker as well. Nothing into the count. St. Louis, Missouri native, as that pitch bends down and out. He is an Oklahoma commit, a young man who says he wants to go into aviation. Well, one guy told us he wanted to be a pilot, and if he needed to fly the big league charter, he could do that too. And when he gets to the big leagues, that one poked into right field by Benz, a little bit like softball. They're going to try and throw him out at first base, but he will reach with the single. One of the reasons why he went to Oklahoma, though, was because, or committed to Oklahoma, is because they have an aviation program, which is kind of thinking forward. Here's Colton Sims, who went down on strikes in his only time in from Leawood, Kansas. Or as they like to say on that side of the state, KCK, Kansas City, Kansas area. Next pitch to Sims. Swung on and missed. Pitch up and a little bit out. Dupree trying to finish strong after facing 3 batters in the 7th. This is 4th in the 8th inning.
Brett, well, most of these games are scheduled for 8 innings. I believe this is scheduled for 8.5 innings. So after the sides retired here, I think we have a half an inning more to play.
That was a good addendum to our discussion. That's lined into left for a base hit. Good swing by Colton Sims. One of the harder hit balls we've seen.
Yeah,
Cunningham went into a dive at short.
Yeah, we saw that perfectly coming back off the bat from the camera angle. I thought the shortstop was going to make a great diving play there. That was just hit too hard, actually.
So John Austin Wood will be the 5th batter of our 8th inning. And David has promised us bonus baseball for a top of the 9th. One more game to go at the Perfect Game Junior National Showcase from Marietta, Georgia. John Austin Wood skies one to right, playable. And the catch is made by Dominic Stevenson. So a couple of singles with 2 outs. Duprey faces 5. Does not give up a run over his 2 innings of work.
And that's a name everyone out there should follow for the future. I think there's a high ceiling there for Joey Duprey. It's going to be fun to watch him develop over the next couple of years, and especially keep in mind his relative age, the rest of the 2025 class.